Tobago updates. Good morning, Tobago. Wake up with Candace.
Welcome back to Good Morning Tobago on Tobago Updates. Well, viewers, we are getting into some talk this morning about just to kind of sort of clear the air, some things that happened over the weekend. Because over the weekend, one of the most looked forward to events was that of Call to Paradise, put on by Opulence Promotions. However, things didn't go quite as planned. So just to give us a perspective on what's happened, to address some of the concerns that patrons may have had or experienced, we have none other than Mr. Erlan Clarke on with us this morning. Good morning and welcome to you.
Pleasant good morning, Candace. Thank you for having me, and good morning to your viewers.
Now, we had a lot of people looking forward to Call to Paradise.
Correct.
Carnival was back, of course the events came back, and Call to Paradise was, before the pandemic, was becoming that go-to event.
Correct,
after
yes.
Carnival.
Yes, it has.
It was just one of those perfect ways to cool down.
Yes.
And you all had a great show plans,
Yes.
but it didn't quite go to plan.
Very much so. Again, I do have to apologize from on OP events side. We do apologize. We sincerely apologize in regards to the attendance of 3 of our main acts who did not attend the event. But all in all, the event was tremendous. We did an exit poll with some of the persons who attended the event. We got roughly an 8 out of 10. The 2 is not having the acts there. It's something was beyond our control. We try our best to mitigate the situation, but unfortunately, it just could not have worked out in the last minute. We even try as well to secure artists outside of who we had, but it just wasn't working out at that last minute interval in regards to where we got the announcement that they wouldn't be able to perform at our event.
Now, was there any chance to even advise patrons before the event? That
it happened so close,
it was so close
that even advising, we made a decision as a part of the management that here what at this particular time that we will have to really let the patrons know that the artist was unable to come and perform, because one of the artists, which is Skinny Fabulous, he actually was in the airport. If you saw the recording that we posted, you will see the back counters and so on.
Yes.
His particular reason is that, more or less from his management, is that he had to travel back because of a medical situation with his mom. So he was at the airport trying to weigh in regards to if to come to Tobago, if to go and see his mom and so on, because it was a serious matter. So at the end, we were still waiting and so on. And we honestly could not have pressured him, because it's a personal issue. It's a personal issue, and it's his mother. So we made the decision, like, listen, hear what? And back and forth, because he had a particular time to actually purchase that ticket to get on the plane. And we made the decision, hear what, Skinny? You get on the plane, go and make sure that your mom is okay. We definitely will do something bigger and better later down in the year, where you will be part. And he, as mentioned in his video, when he comes back, he is going to give a super show to the patrons of Tobago and whoever attends our events, OP events, that is. In regards to the other 2 entertainers, booked, everything was ready for them to perform. But as far as we would have been informed, is that another entity had them booked, and it was a way of, here what, you can't perform there, you have to perform here. And we just try to mitigate the situation, but it was no fault of ours, as the artist has indicated.
So it was basically a problem of their management teams as well.
Yes, so more or less, we try our best to mitigate the situation, knowing our brand, knowing Opulence Promotion, or OP events for short. Knowing me as an individual, I know I stand for excellence, I stand for an experience. All of our artists from events before have arrived at our events, performed, everything was perfect. We know a lot of people was looking forward to seeing the artists and so on, but additional to that, the ambience, the food, the drinks, everything was on point, everything was perfect. We went to a new venue. The venue was amazing. Everybody complimented. So much so, the management of the Crown Point Beach Hotel would have indicated that they already have huge inquiries and also confirmed bookings for 2024 once Call to Paradise is happening at the venue.
Certainly. No, there was something different that you guys did this year, and this was in the way that you all organized or sold your tickets.
Yes.
One was for drinks inclusive,
Yes.
and then you had the all-inclusive package. How did that work?
Well, surprisingly, based on us changing the format in regards to the drinks inclusive and all inclusive, we had 100% buy-in for the all-inclusive. We were quite surprised. We thought persons would have run to the, I'd be more attracted to the drinks inclusive because it's a cheaper option. So we realized that the market is there. Our clients, additional to that, was more so the foreign international clients and Trinidad clients because our online ticket sales were out of this roof. Yeah, so it was pretty amazing, and that's one of the things that we use as our exec polls because we sent emails to individuals to find out, how their events was. Even myself in the event as well would have been walking around asking clients, and apologizing as well to clients. So we see the buy-in from the market that we really trying to tap into to get them to come over to the Tobago space because our thing really and truly is not just about keeping an event, it's not just about holding a fete, but it's really about the experience of coming into this space, the experience of coming to Tobago, experiencing that beauty, that warmth, that welcomeness in this space. That's why we normally look for spaces that's outside the box. We don't go into a car park and try to build it out. We normally go look for spaces that it's extraordinary, and take them to beyond.
Yes, certainly. And I mean, Call to Paradise definitely does that.
Yes.
Now, I kind of want to move the conversation a little bit. So just some overall views on Carnival, the conclusion of Carnival, and so on. Now, I know from a promoter's perspective, nationally, there was, Carnival almost seemed to be a hit and miss for a lot of promoters. It did not do well. Events did not really come off as a lot of people were expecting.
Correct.
What was your experience? Just as a whole, just looking at it in a general sense.
Well, normally, on a yearly basis, once there's carnival between Trinidad and Tobago, especially the national carnival, I partake in Trinidad carnival. I go down for a short period and come back. This year, I actually opted to stay in Tobago, to mind my business, as they say. But more so, I took part in going to night mass. I didn't go to Juve. I'm not much of a Juve person, but really and truly, we do as an entity, overall in the Tobago space, have to sit down, reevaluate, look at what's going on in the space, be serious about it if we really want to be making an investment for the National Carnival and also the October Carnival. We can see clearly that persons opted for the October Carnival and not the National Carnival. Most persons went to Trinidad. Now we can create a product in the National Carnival that kind of what we don't have in the October, we look and see how we can build out the February space. My thing is that we definitely know a lot of people leave from Trinidad to come to Tobago, to not just cool down, but more so to actually do the religious groups camps and so on. So we can look at investing into that, like building out Speyside Field, building out Turtle Beach, field at Corland there, that we create campsites and have persons come to Tobago and we create that kind of energy and financial buy-in on that end. But where it is from a carnival perspective, I know a lot of persons for and some are against. For me, honestly, and where it works financially, not just for an individual, but more so for the Tobago space. If it's not working, definitely we have to revisit. We have to look at what's working. We see the Tobago Carnival. It had hiccups. A lot of things happen in the back, but definitely it's a product that could be built on, a product that we can sell internationally, because that's what we're really looking for. The revenue that the foreign investment, the foreign buying, the October Carnival has that potential. And if it is that it needs the boost, it needs the more financing into bringing it up to a standard, we definitely have to look at that, and we have to hold the bull by the horn and say, listen, what, this thing can't work in February. this is what we're going to build out. If it's kiddies, or if it's just mud mass alone, or if it's just kiddies, mud mass, and juve in one particular area and not have it split up. We do one in Roxborough, we do one in Crown Point, we do one, we look at keeping it holistically in the Scarborough space. We definitely have to look at it because it's just, you're not getting a return on investment, especially from the THA standpoint. Investing, well, I'm not sure what's the final budget for February, but I know the initial budget was $9 million. I'm not sure if all was spent based on what happened and so on, but definitely at a $9 million buy-in, you definitely want to see some return on investment, and definitely anybody can see that there wasn't any return on investment on that $9 million this year.
Yes.
I'm not sure as an entity because I don't have all the answers. We can come together as a body, as a unit, Tobago that is, and see what's best and what's suited and works for us. I think some of that money could go towards actually the heritage product, the Tobago heritage product. It's a product that I've been looking at for years. We have guys like Jared Primer and T-Pack and so on that could actually make some huge investment into that space. Once the financial buy-in is there, we can see where we could get spin-off of movies and so on, because Tobago is rich in culture. We changed hands so many times over the years that we have so many backgrounds that we can tap into and get that information out. So we definitely can look at things that where it is holistically working for Tobago and not just one or two individuals in this space.
Now, should we leave the cultural aspect of Carnival? Because for instance, the kiddies I think did quite well,
yes,
given the circumstances, right? Should we just leave that, there's certain cultural aspects for the national carnival period, and then leave the events, the Juve, the parade bands for October?
Again, as I said, we as a unit, as a body in this space, need to have some form of consultation. I was at a meeting where the Secretary Tashira Boris would have indicated right after Carnival, we will look at having a consultation meeting with all stakeholders in this space to see what's working best for us. And we have to be truthful to ourselves. The February Carnival was taking some lashing, and that's what the spin-off of the October Carnival came about, in order to bring heads and beds and additionally to really market this space. So definitely, if persons are really true to themselves, they'll know that here it's not about me individually or what I think or what should happen, but if everyone puts some form of information into the pool, we definitely will come out, because we have a lot of smart persons in this space, a lot of persons in this space that's actually cultural oriented or basically who is in events, who is into the carnival thing, so and even the religious bodies and all has to be involved, because it has to be holistic. Everybody has to agree with a direction forward in what's supposed to happen in the Tobago space.
Certainly. Now, I mean, looking ahead, we just had the announcement yesterday for the Tobago Jazz Festival.
Yes.
I know you were one of those promoters, that was that looked at rebranding jazz a little bit, and there was something that you tried last year that actually did Utopia that did quite well. From what is already presented, what are your views on?
Well, what I could know from background information and just being a promoter or events coordinator, definitely I know some persons are saying yay to the artists, some persons are saying nay, some persons wanted bigger names and so on, but bigger names mean
cost more money.
More correctly so. As Mr. Arnold would have said earlier in an interview, just one artist is $4 million US. There will be a return on investment, but bringing a huge artist to a capacity space of holding 10,000 persons, you definitely wouldn't get the return. And it have some people saying, oh, jazz don't make sense because they're spending how much millions being an artist and we're not getting a return. But some people, the louder ones are saying, well, you should bring a big artist for $4 million, but you wouldn't get the return. What you will get definitely is the return on marketing in regards to, well, this particular artist came to the space and everybody knows about Tobago and so on. I think given to what they have to work with from a budgetary constraint, it's a good cast. I know from just conversations around, there are more artists to be added to the cast. Names that actually would pique and ring a bell and be excited, make some excitement in the space. And what we as a society, especially in Tobago, have to do is really push what we have. You know, this is what we have. This is what we were presented with. See how best we could enhance. See how best we could, on social media, everybody's on. Really push it that we could have persons to buy in, our families to come in from abroad, persons to buy in from Trinidad. Because if we always try to beat down what we're trying to offer, you know, you find that person will be like, I'm not going to buy into that. If Tobagonians on the island not even buying into what is being offered, you know, why should I buy into that? As I said, so based on the fact that this is what we have to work with, we can really try to build out on it and see how best we can make sure the product itself is a good product, is a product that persons will buy into. The build out for it, however, is what we really have to pay attention to in regards to making sure that it's cost-effective one, and the presentation and the experience itself overall, because it's not just about really and truly about artists, and I can tell you that from
It's
Call to Paradise.
Holistic experience.
It's a holistic experience, because even at Call to Paradise, with the artists not being there, some of the artists that is not being there at the event was amazing, because we had close to 800 persons at that particular event, Call to Paradise. So more or less, you find that in regards to people still had a vibe, it had a rhythm section, it had this. So what could we enhance the space at a minimal cost to really give the experience to individuals who coming into the jazz? And we can do stuff, because there are a lot of things culturally we could add elements into the space that really creates that experience that person will walk away with. Well, yeah, it wasn't usher, but definitely the food, the service, seeing the cultural element add into it. You know, we take away from that, and customers really appreciate that kind of thing.
Certainly. What about the timing for it as well? Because, you know, you heard the announcement since last year that there was going to be a jazz. But of course, a lot of people, they want to hear what the artists line up is. They want to hear some details before they make their plan.
Yes, yes.
I mean, and this was a concern that we had for the Tobago Carnival. I mean, is the THA learning in terms of giving people a sufficient amount of time to make their plans to attend, especially those on the outside?
That's one of the concerns as stakeholders in this space we keep mentioning in regards to timing and so on. One of the conversation having with one of the authority members, you know, is based on budget, based on, you know, you can advertise, but really and truly you're not sure where your budgetary allocations coming from. So I think they're more or less kind of working on, well, we found the funding, so we could run and go with information now. So we have to try to find that sweet spot where it is that, you know, it may not be a huge marketing strategy in regards to advertising artists and so on, but more just informing individuals that on our social media platform, tapping into our influencers in this space and so on, and even tapping into promoters who may have, because if you add 2,000 from this promoter, 5,000 from this promoter on their social media platform, and you kind of collaborate with persons in this space, like, let's market this together. We put out a blast at the same time and so on. It has far-reaching, where we could reach individuals that, you know, a soft launch, this is the jazz date and so on, because even at Call to Paradise, we push the jazz experience at our event. We actually had our MC speak about the jazz, the dates, and, you know, look forward to it. It's the return and so on, because what we saw, we saw a lot of foreigners buying into our event, and we would have contacted TTAL, informed them of it, showed them, and they got on board, and it's like, listen, we want to be part of it. And they came into the space, they put up their banners and so on. And that's what we have to do as a space. It's small, so we have to work together. That way everyone is successful, because once you win, it more or less feels like Tobago win, and I'm in Tobago, so I'm winning as well.
Because, you know, one of the concerns, you know, some people are not quite sure, let's say, about Boys to Men. But the truth is, Boys to Men actually has quite a large audience on the outside.
Correct, is right.
So in some ways, we may be missing the ball in terms of the timing to give those people from the outside a chance to say, hey, I want to go see Boys to Men. experience that in a Caribbean island. So
Well, yeah, again, as I said, I know for a fact that one of the reasons is budgetary constraints, so it was a
Okay.
kind of timing for that. But what has to happen is that, again, the powers that be has to work alongside stakeholders in this space. We may have some ways and means of helping to assist in marketing the product, because again, once the product wins, Tobago and a whole wins, because individuals come to the space and I will be able to advertise Call to Paradise or other events, or advertise Tobago Carnival, and I get buy into my band Zane, I get buy into whatever events I have in October and so on. So it works and augurs well for all of us. So what has to happen really and truly is that the powers that be sit down with stakeholders and see how best we can build out a product that we could advertise, we could push for. But we normally think about the market regionally and internationally to buy in. But one thing we overlook as individuals in the space of Tobago, we have a huge market just 3 hours away by boat and 20 minutes by plane. Thousands of persons we could actually come to fill Pigeon Point or Speyside or whatever jazz experience that's happening in this space. So first and foremost, because realistically, international flights in Tobago is minimal to none at this point in time. And to get over to Tobago is difficult as domestic as it is. So imagine an international flyer coming into Trinidad and then trying to come across to Tobago. So the numbers will not be as high as even if we do advertise internationally. But however, the market share what we have in Trinidad that we can get and attract persons to come into. We definitely can get 5, 6, 7,000, 8,000 persons from Trinidad to get involved and come into Tobago for the jazz experience, and who would purchase the tickets and so on. And once we see that, and again, once Tobagonians are on board with what's happening, what we can do is then have that information now next year that we'll be able to better advertise and say, here what, internationally we could start early, advertise, get person on board to come into the space and so on, and be comfortable and sell the product internationally and regionally.
Certainly. And, you know, one of the things that the Chief Secretary stated in regards to the Tobago Jazz Festival is that he wants local promoters to really come on board, because this is something that, you know, he believes should be managed by the local promoters. So do you think that this is a challenge that Opulence Promotions will be interested in taking on?
Well, we took on the challenge in last year
With
when
Utopia,
when we did Utopia and put a placement jazz experience in place with Junior Kelly and Baby Sham and so on, and well, which are international acts and local acts there. So we are open for the challenge. We're actually in conversation at this point in time to host one of the nights. We already built out a product. It's a beautiful product. That is the venue that we're looking to acquire to host the event. It's a beautiful venue. It's a venue that persons recognize on a daily basis, but never yet experience an event in this space. As I told you before, OP events normally look for venues that's outside the box.
Yes.
So that's one of the things. So we're in conversation at this point in time. And once everything goes well, we definitely will pull the trigger and move forward. And any assistance given to the Tobago House of Assembly and Festival Commission that is on our end, because there were the last Tobago Jazz OP events would have gotten the opportunity to do the VIP deck, which was a total success. It actually sold out. We catered for 300 persons on deck there. We actually got ticket sales for close to 400.
Wow.
So it was a sold out space. It was really successful. We hope that comes back again and we win the opportunity to bid and execute it again, because even after that last jazz, when it ended, nobody wanted to leave the VIP deck. They actually stayed and party, because we just was looking at the videos a week ago and saying we laughed at it, and you know, like persons start singing and they were there.
Oh yes, I remember
you
that.
remember that, yes, correctly. So we're hoping things like those come back into this. We got the opportunity, and we're here to assist in any way possible, because as I said, once Tobago wins, we win.
All right, and that's a great point to leave this interview. I want to thank you so much, Mr. Erlan Clarke, for being on with us and for just giving us your perspective. You know, I'll just clear the air on what happened with Call to Paradise and to come for this year. I mean, this year's looking to be an exciting year.
It is.
And we are looking forward for it. All right, viewers, so that's how we're going to wrap this show this morning. Thank you for viewing. And please have a safe and wonderful day. And we'll see you again tomorrow.
Rise up to a brand new dawn, and as the passion start to rise, the